I don't know if you guys can tell, but that little lump right there is Stormy, my baby girl. We have not previously mentioned this, but our cat spends 98% of her life completely underneath covers. She is completely immersed. She emerges like 1 hour a day to eat and give me kisses and judge my life choices. Hi. It's me, the bi book boy. It's not actually cold because I live in LA, but I wish it was cold. And when it's cold, I read classic literature. So, let's talk about the classic literature on my bookshelf currently. Quick disclaimer, some of these may be written like in the contemporary era, and not actually in the classical literature time periods or whatever of when it was written. And to that I say, I do not give a fuck. Have I ever claimed to be a historian? No. If this is the only place you are getting your historical actual book knowledge on like timelines and shit, I worry for you. But first, if you're new here, my name is Logan, and this is the Bi Book Boy. I am a chaotic bisexual and I read books. Now without further ado, let's get into it. The first classic on my book is... The first book on my list is The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux, because I am a basic theater bitch, and I fucking love this book, y'all. There is nothing I love more than a Gothic era toxic romance lover type thing. Love Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical. The book's ending is better, so read it. It's a really fast read. One thing that surprised me about this book when I read it, having come to it from the musical, the first time I read it, was that it's written from Raoul's point of view, which is like, oh my god, she's moving. You guys, my cat is emerging. Stormy! You guys, she's awake! Stormy, what do you think of The Phantom of the Opera? She says no comments, please. I like that it was from Raoul's point of view, which is really interesting because it makes Raoul a bit scarier, because like, at least in the musical and the movie, he is kind of the dude that you would... Let's be honest, Raoul's the guy that would get his lunch money stolen every day at school if this was an elementary school Gothic romance book. But in this book, he's kind of a little bit creepy, and it's an interesting adventure into the whole, like, so there's the good guy, but there's the bad guy, but the bad guy's so hot, but then there's the good guy, but then the good guy's also kind of a dick as well. Like, it just depends, and it's fun, and I enjoy it. Go read it. That's my opinion. Next up, I have Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote, because I love it. Again, I watched the movie before I read this book the first time. The main thing that, like, struck me was how starkly different the ending is. This book is far sadder than the film, which I love because I am an emo child inside. It's not a phase, Mom. Yeah, it's really good. I love Holly. I love the character of Holly. I also love her relationship with her cat, because obviously I also have a cat. It's so good. Oh my god. This is also just a very... Oh, I just burped into the microphone. This is also just a very poetically written book, and I love the language. I guess it's not technically classical era, but like, it gives you the classic feels and like the cold wintry weather and all that fun shit. So do it. Yeah, read it. I recommend. Next up, from the same time period, we have Giovanni's Room. I have reviewed this on my channel before, so go watch the review. But a quick, like, New York Times editorial, like, insert whatever here. Oh my god, it's so good. Grandma's back! We haven't had the grandma voice in a while, you guys. Well, she's been here, but she just hasn't given the exact, But yeah, Giovanni's Room is great. It's set in the 1950s. It's about a young bisexual man experimenting with that and deciding whether he wants to be traditional or not. It's really good. It's some of the most beautiful poetry I've ever read. Well, it's not really poetry, but the most beautiful prose I have ever read. And I really enjoy it. It's really good. It's very sad. I cried at the end. Go read it. Also, go watch my video where I do a more in-depth review of it because it's really good. Same thing, you know the drill. I've reviewed this, honestly, I think twice on this channel so far. Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway. Now, this book is incredible. It is technically classic literature. It's like on the cusp. It's really good. This is similarly about a bisexual woman who is a lady of society and regretting the fact that she never acted on her same-sex love. She's hosting a party and basically just all of these friends from another life waft back in, and she's forced with dealing with sort of reconciling the person that she was then and the person that she has become, and how those two are very different, and it's really good. But check it out. This is one of my favorite Virginia Woolf books. Actually, I think this is my favorite Virginia Woolf book, to be honest. Next up! Okay, so I own the whole of Austen. In this place, in this apartment, I currently have 4 of my Austen books with me because these are my 4 favorite, because I'm basic, okay? Don't come after me. Obviously, we have Pride and Prejudice. This is my second favorite Austen book. I know. Stormy. I don't know if you can hear her, but this is what she does when she wakes up, is she talks. Pride and Prejudice was the first classic book that I ever read, and I just really enjoy it, and it honestly was one of the books that like pushed me into reading and really enjoying it. I just love the character of Elizabeth and the character of Jane. They are 2 very wonderful female characters that are both strong and independent and work to make changes in the society that they live in, and I love it. Also, Mr. Wickham has I have so much time to discuss all of my feelings about that man. We could do a full-on in-depth review if we want. But yeah. Next, we have Persuasion. I have not read Persuasion in a hot sec, but I really, really do love it. It's one of, I don't know, it's not one of her lesser known, because like all of Jane Austen shit is known, but it's very good. It's very good. Again, there are some very good film adaptions of it if you want to watch those before you read it, because I understand, especially when approaching like Austenian language and such, very much like Shakespeare, it's nice to have a guide if you're there just so that you know what they're saying, and films do help you understand that. But yeah, go get a blanket, go get some hot tea, go read it. It's so good. Why am I throwing these books onto my bed? What the fuck? Then we have Sense and Sensibilities. Yes, I am basic. My cover is the one that has the movie cover with Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet, which is also my favorite version of this movie. I know. I just love it. I love Emma Thompson. She's one of my favorite freaking people in the world. This is, I would say, my 3rd favorite Austen book. I love Eleanor and Marianne and just the love that these 2 have for each other as sisters. It's sisterly bonds are things that Jane Austen is like super good at. I love the way that she creates families and their dynamics, and just like the way that all of her characters relate to each other. I really enjoy that. It's something that I think lasts past the time that these books are written, and it gives you a really nice warm fuzzy feeling. So if you want to cry into a cup of hot chocolate while cuddling under a book or whatever and pretending you live in the 1800s, then wow, have I got a book for you. Speaking of which, my favorite Jane Austen book, Emma. This is such a good book. Oh my god. I love Emma. There are those on the internet who would claim that Emma is a narcissist, that she is manipulative, that she needs to stay out of other people's business, and all of that fun stuff. I disagree. I think that she is a loving person who is taking care of her father, is an only child, so everyone around her are like they're her family and people that she feels responsible for, and she wants to take care of them. And yes, she gets a little bit too into other people's business, but it's out of love. I really enjoy just everything about this. It's so good. It's so good. I cry at the end of this book all the time. The most recent adaptation that is on HBO Max and Hulu, I think that adaptation really gets both Emma and Harriet's relationship really well done, and it also gets Emma and Knightley's friendship, because I think the important thing when discussing Emma and Knightley's relationship is the basis of friendship and the way that they understand each other in a way that no one else in the world really tends to understand these two people. I really enjoy it, and I really love it, and it was so good. So yeah, read this book, watch the movie. Also, I love the Gwyneth Paltrow version because I am a slut for Gwyneth Paltrow. Just facts. And of course, I have reviewed this. I actually did an entire video on just this collection. But if you're looking to get some spooky ooky up in them classics, the Turn of the Screw, or this collection for the Turning by Henry James that I picked up at Barnes & Noble is incredible. Classic literature, gothic horror, very creepy. I love them, and these were the short stories that The Haunting of Bly Manor was based on. So, read it. It's super good. Also, go watch my video comparing The Haunting of Bly Manor to the books, or book/short stories. Super good. Yeah, I think that's all I have for classic literature on this shelf, guys. I have a lot more, but they're all like in boxes in my parents' basement because I have been moving once a year for like the past 6 years of my life. So I haven't fully unpacked my childhood bookshelf anywhere. What are your favorite classic books to read under a book? What are your favorite classics to read under a book? Tell me about your favorite classic literature. Do you like classic literature in the winter, or are you more of like a Christmas time? Well, there's also Christmas literature that I love. We'll talk about Christmas literature when it gets there. But first, right now, it's just winter. Thanks for sticking around and helping out. Ooh, Stormy's here. Stormy wants you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can get our videos every single week or whenever we decide to post them. And until next time, this has been the Bye Book Boy and Stormy, and we're saying bye. She purrs.